Hello and welcome back to the Crafty Corner. I'm Jenna and today I'm here to present the Funkie Junkie Saturday Showcase. Today I'm going to be showcasing the new Tim Holtz Idea-ology Halloween, and we're going to have fun over 3 videos creating a fun Halloween make. Now, to get started, we're going to be creating some elements and playing with some different mediums to alter various Idea-ology products. If you'd like to see which products I'm going to be using, go ahead and pause here. All right, let's head over to the Crafty Corner for some good spooky fun. Today, we're going to be altering some of the new Tim Holtz Idea-ology. So what I have for us today, we have got some of the paper dolls from the Halloween paper doll pack. We've got bubbles. We were fortunate enough that these were able to come back this year. They are absolutely fantastic. We have got the new candy corn. I am absolutely in love with this. As you can see, I've already played with a few pieces, but I saved enough so that I could do something for this video as well. Then we've got these fantastic bats and these really cool metal spiders. These will be so much fun to alter. And again, we have candy that came back. These are absolutely fantastic, and these will be so fun to alter. All right, let's go ahead and put some of the extras aside, and we're going to start by altering some paper dolls. To do that, I'm going to be pulling in some distress crayons, some of last year's Nightfall glitter, some of this year's Fortune Teller Distress Mica Spray Stain, and we're going to revisit Tree Lot Distress Mica Spray Stain from last year. For our first alterations, we're going to start with some of the Tim Holtz Distress Pearlescent crayons. And the colors I've decided to work with are Burning Ember and Peppermint Stick. So I'm just going to take these, scribble them off to the side, and I'm going to be using a water brush and my fingers to apply the crayon. So, using the fine detailer brush, we're going to pick up some of the color and start brushing it onto the paper doll. Very simple, but very effective and a nice, easy way to add color. Okay, let's go ahead and bring the camera down a bit closer so we can see what's happening. That's pretty good. Okay. And I'm just going to continue to brush this on. As we can see, the Pearlescent Distress Crayon has great coverage and is very easy to apply. Now, the only thing is, we don't want to add too much color at a time, because the more color we add over the same spot, the more likely it is to rub away with the detailer brush. So we want to give each section a little bit of time in between layers to dry. Okay. That is going on nice and quickly. So the first color that I have put down is Peppermint Stick. I wanted to do my darkest color first and then go back in and add accents of a lighter color. In this case, Burning Ember. Okay, the first layer is looking pretty good. A little touch up over here, a little bit right there. Okay, I'm feeling pretty happy with that. Oh, and there's a little piece to pop out right here. Okay, excellent. So I am just going to quickly dry this off with the Ranger Heat tool, and then I will go in and add some accent colors. Now I'm going to go in with my second color, Burning Ember, and add a little bit in places as an accent. I think down here. Maybe just around the edges here. Ooh, that's looking pretty good. Along some of the highlight lines. And after that's applied, I will go back in with a bit more of Peppermint Stick. definitely liking how this is starting to layer. Right now it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to go back in after and smudge this out with my fingers. But right now I'm just using the brush for ease of application. Okay, I like that. So now in with just a little bit more peppermint stick, and then we'll move on to the next part. Okay, so now I'm going to blend this out using my fingers. Just lightly tapping here and there, being careful not to get onto other parts. Okay, and here is our first alteration. All right, let's go ahead and set this one aside. Next, we're going to try altering with some of the Distress Mica spray stain. Now, with this, when adding it to the paper doll, we have to be careful. It goes on very nice with color, but the problem is it will rub off and flume on our fingers after the fact. So the way I found around that is to mist with a light coating of acrylic spray or Distress Resist spray stain. The reason I am using some of the Distress Mica spray stain instead of the crayon is because this is extra vibrant when applied to the paper dolls. So we're just going to take our Distress Mica spray stain, give it a good shake, make sure there's no sentiment at the bottom, and I'm going to drop it just a little bit off to the side on the media mat. And again, I'm going to go in with the fine detailer brush and brush this onto the paper doll. And as you will see when it's being applied, it is very vibrant. Okay, let's go ahead and start adding some color. So, just going to lightly apply that. Now this I might have to do in a couple of coats. As you can see, it beads up. That's okay. We have got ways around that. I'm just going to apply the first coat, and then we'll come back and layer it up. So while I'm painting this on with the paintbrush, let's go ahead and put this part on fast forward. Here is the altered paper doll using Distress Mica spray stain. Check out the shimmer on this. That is pretty cool. Now, the only problem is this will rub off my fingers as soon as I touch it. As you can see, just touching the edges, and I've already got purple on me. So to avoid the rest of the beautiful purple coming off, I'm going to be adding a very thin coat of acrylic sealer. I did try this with some of the Distress Resist spray, but I got this very odd drippy effect. It looks cool, but I'm trying to keep a smooth finish on this. So I'm just going to take the spray, give it a very quick shake. I've put down paper to protect my work surface, and we're just going to give this a couple of very quick spritzes to cover the dress part. All right, let's see how it goes. Okay, that was very quick sprays, and I'm happy to say there is no dripping. I'm not sure I got it all covered, so I'm going to give that a second spray. Ah, there it goes. Perfect. And again, no dripping, but this time when I tilt it, I can see that I have a clear coat over the top. Oh my word, that is looking really cool. All right, so we're going to set this aside for now and let it dry, and we'll come back at the end of the paper doll section and take a second look. Next, we're going to be combining two different techniques for our third paper doll alteration. Here I'm going to be, again, painting with Distress Mica Spray Stain, but we're also going to be adding an accent of Nightfall Distress glitter. So I'm going to start by adding Tree Lot, and then we'll go in and add some glitter. For this part, I'm just doing a very small accent of green, just this part of the dress, and then we're going to add 2 different glittering accents to this. So I'm dripping out a little bit of Tree Lot onto the side of my workspace, and we're going to grab the detailer brush once again. Need to give that a quick clean since it's still got some of the Fortune Teller pigment on it, but easy enough. So going in, grabbing some Tree Lot, and we're going to apply that onto the paper doll. So just this little strip in here is going to get that shimmery green. And again, I'll probably have to do 2 layers to get good coverage, but that is not a problem. This stuff goes on really easy, and I can just dry that off with the Ranger Heat tool before going in with a second layer. As you can see, because of the slick surface of the paper doll finish, this stuff beads up like crazy. But with a little bit of heat and a couple of layers and a bit of patience, we can still get a smooth and interesting effect. Okay, second layer going on. Just quickly painting that down. Ah, that's spreading much better this time round. Excellent. Okay. Alright, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm just going to quickly dry this off, and then we're going to come back and add some glitter. Alright, let's take a closer look at that. Ooh, nice and sparkly. Okay, so again, I'm going to be giving this a very quick blast with the acrylic spray, and then we will go ahead and add the glitter. Quick shake, and quick spritz. Okay. Ooh, that blasted away a bit more than I wanted it to, but I can probably get that back. Alright. Moving that out of the way. Huh. Oh, maybe not. It's still there. Interesting. That's something completely different this time. Huh. Anyway, let's go ahead and let this dry, and then glitter time. For glitter accents, I'm going to be using a little bit of Glossy accents. And I decided that I wanted to do a little bit where the flowers are up top here. And I think we'll do this spot here where her coat is. That'll be a nice little accent. So with the nozzle, I'm just drizzling a little bit of glossy accents onto the paper doll. Just gently moving that around. And I'm going to try to do 2 thin lines at the bottom of her dress. Alright, let's see how that goes as we add some glitter. So I'm going to be grabbing some scrap paper and putting that down to catch the glitter. I don't want to have a big mess on the craft table, so scrap paper in. And now glitter. So I'm just going to gently tap this on. Hopefully this will brush off easily without too much difficulty. Okay. And down here. All right, let's tap off the extra. Top part is looking good. Just have a few little wispy strands to brush away. And I'll do that with a paintbrush. Hopefully this will brush off pretty easily. That seems to so far. Okay. All right. So far, not too bad. All right, I'm going to set this aside and let it dry, and we'll come back and take a look at all 3 paper dolls in a little bit. All right, let's take a look at all 3 altered paper dolls. Here is the first one, altered with Distress pearlescent crayons. Then we have this one, altered with Distress Mica spray stains, and it was sealed with some acrylic finish. Then we have the third one, which is a combination of Distress glitter, Nightfall, and Distress Mica spray stain. Again, this was sealed, and it was sealed before glittering. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to our next set of techniques. Now it's time for some fun with candy corn. We are going to be glittering some candy corn. I learned this technique from Tim during his Idea-ology live release and demo, but I wanted to give you an up-close look at how beautiful this candy corn is when it is glittered. Okay, so we're going to go ahead, open the box. Yes, I'm doing all of the pieces that I had left over because these are absolutely wonderful. Love these, can't get enough. We're going to bring in a scrap piece of paper. We're going to open up the tub of Distress glitter, and I'm pulling in a set of squeezers. Now I'm going to add some acrylic. Now I'm going to add some glossy accents onto our piece of scrap paper, and we're going to put the candy corn in that to get our adhesive ready for glitter dipping. Okay, and I'm going to go in with the pick and just pull a little bit of the glossy accents up the side of the candy corn, just to make sure that we've got plenty of stickiness all over this so we can get this extra sparkly. Okay, that looks good. I'll just slide this out of the puddle. Now we'll just back the camera out just a little bit. Now we're going to move the glitter right here, taking the little piece of candy corn with the squeezers. We're then going to dunk that right into the glitter, tap it off, and take a look at this sparkly goodness. This is absolutely amazing. Alright, I'll just set this off to the side to dry, and we'll repeat the process for one more, and then I'll put this on fast forward while I sparkle the rest of these. Placing the candy corn down into the glossy accents, using the die pick to pull the glossy accents over the sides of the candy corn. Pull it out. Next, going in with squeezers. Picking that up and dunking into the glitter. Tapping it off, and again, look at that amazing sparkle. All right, let's go ahead and put this on fast forward as we glitter up the rest of this candy corn. Here are the finished candy corns, and check out that amazing sparkle. Okay, so I'm going to set these aside to dry, and then we will turn our attention to our next technique. For our next technique, we're going to be altering some of the Tim Holtz Idea-ology confections. And to do that, we're going to be using some alcohol ink, Ember, the Tim Holtz alcohol blending pen, and some stickles from Ranger in the color of Sunflower. So let's take out the confections. These are absolutely fantastic, and these are going to be so fun to add a little bit of glitz and glam to. To start with, we're going to take some of the Ember alcohol ink and put it down onto the media mat. Just a few drops. Then we're going to go in with the blending pen. I'm going to pick up some of the ink with the blending pen, and then we're going to apply that directly onto the candy. So just swirling the pen around a little bit and using like a regular marker, we are now adding color to our confection pieces. Now for this part, I just want to get the color all over the piece, and we're going to make sure that we do front, back, and sides. I want to have color all the way around on this. With the color now added to the first of these confections, we're going to go ahead and put the rest of this on fast forward while I continue to add color to these. With the coloring now complete, it's time to add some glitz with some of the Ranger stickles in the color of Sunflower. Looking at the confection, there is this one little divided line, and I'm going to follow that divided line with a thin strip of sparkle all the way around this little confection. We're just going to gently turn this very slowly as I gently squeeze out some of these stickles onto this piece. Now this takes a little bit of time because I have to pay very close attention to the detail and not let the stickles flow out of the nozzle too quickly. But with a little bit of time and patience, the end result is well worth it. Okay, it looks like we just need a little bit more. We'll just continue to rotate this. And then our first piece should be complete. All right. Looking good. Let's set this aside and let it dry and put the rest of this on fast forward. And here are our finished confections. These look good enough to eat. Now, on to making bubbles. Now, we're going to be altering some of the Tim Holtz Idea-ology clear bubbles. To do this, I'm simply dropping these into a little shot glass cup, and we're going to be adding a few drops of Mojito alcohol ink. I like to add about 2 to 3 drops. So we're just going to drop that right in. A few drops. And then, very simply, we're just going to swirl these around in the cup. Just give it a little shake, rattle, and roll, and the baubles will pick up the alcohol ink. Now we can see we have a nice, lovely shade of green. Those are looking magical. Now to let them dry, I'm just going to dump these out and place them on a piece of paper towel. And then they will be ready for use. Next, we're going to be altering some of these Tim Holtz Idea-ology Halloween adornments. So let's go ahead. We're going to take these out of the box. To start with, we're going to be altering the bats, and we'll set these spiders aside for later. All right, just going to move the camera a little bit. There we go. So, first alteration, nice and simple. We're going to be altering with pitch black alcohol ink. And to do that, I'm going to be pulling in the Tim Holtz alcohol blending pen. So, very simply, I'm going to drop a few drops of the pitch black right here on the mat. And we're going to pick up the color with the blending brush. Just a little tap in, then pick up the bat and apply. Very simple, very fast, quick, easy way to do some altering. All right, that's already half a bat done. Just hang on to that. And I'll just scribble the rest of this on. All right. And here is our first altered bat. Here's before and after. All right, let's go ahead. We'll set that first bat aside and move on to our second metal altering technique. Now, pulling in the bat, we're going to alter the second one using some Distress Foundry Wax Statue. So with this, we're going to give it a good shake. Make sure we can hear that mixing ball bouncing around in there. And I'm going to put this over on the side and drop out a few drops onto the media mat. Then, taking our paintbrush, just going to put that on and brush this onto the bat. Pretty easy. Okay, got good coverage there. Turn this around and try to hold this without any of the foundry wax coming off. And continue to paint the rest of the bat with the foundry wax. Alright, I'll probably have to come back and do a second coat because there's no way I'm going to be able to hold this without some of it smudging off of my fingers, but not a big deal. I think for heating this, I will go in with the squeezers and hold one end of the bat and then come back and do the second half. Okay, that is good. Set that down. Grab the squeezers. Since I'll be redoing half of the bat anyway, just clip that on there, and we're going to pull in an embossing gun. Here is the altered bat. Now the last thing to do is to grunge this up a little bit with a little bit of Distress Crayon Walnut Stain. So we're just going to scribble that onto the bat, let that catch the raised edges. And then with my fingers, I'm just going to smush that in. Okay, ooh, I'm liking how that's getting all nice and grungy. That is looking good. All right. Just going to try to push that in, maybe a little bit more near the ears. Okay. And the last thing that I'm going to do will be to take a little bit of paper towel and wipe off just a little bit of the Distress Crayon. I want to bring back just a little bit of the shine. Ooh, that is working quite well. Okay, there we go. That is 2 altered bats. Okay, let's go ahead and set these aside. Next, we're going to turn our attention to the spiders. These are really cool. They're dimensional. And now we're going to turn these into candied spiders. So to do that, we're going to be adding some distress glaze to them. But first, we need something for the distress glaze to stick to. So I'm going to be using a little bit of collage medium to give the surface a little bit of texture so that they'll have something to stick to. So I'm just going to add a little bit of collage medium off to the side. And I'm just going to take my finger and work that onto the back of the spider. Actually, you know what? I'm going to cover the entire spider. Might as well. So, just going to take my fingers and smush that. We'll set that aside to dry, and I'm going to do the rest as well. So, just taking the spider, smushing with collage medium, and setting it down to dry. Nice, quick, easy way so that we will be able to add in some distress glaze to these. Alright, it's looking good. 2 more spiders. Alright, 1 more spider left. A little bit more collage medium. Smush it around. And we'll set that down for the moment and let these dry. Now, for the distress glazes, I have decided that I'm going to be adding some candied apple, twisted citron, and some villainous potion. To add that to the spiders, I'm going to be pulling in one of the distress embossing pens. This will be a quick, easy way to apply the embossing ink to the backs of the spiders. Okay. So we're going to set down some scrap paper, and before we start adding the distress glaze to these, I am going to snip off that little ring down here. We're going to be turning these into spider lollipops. So I want the ring gone, and then I'm going to super glue wires onto the backs of these before we add the glaze. So let's see, pull the rest of the spiders in. For super glue, I am using the original super glue, and this is going to be the gel type. Normally I would use collage medium for about everything, but I want these to be extra stuck, and I'd like the drying time to be a little bit quicker than what I could get with collage medium. So, snipping off the little rings. We'll do that first, and then start adding the wires. Now we're going to take the super glue, and I'm going to put some down onto the back of the spider, right here. Well, it's a bit more than I'd wanted, but we'll make that work. And we'll take the wire and gently smush that in right here. Okay. Now we're just going to do the same thing to the other spiders. A little bit of super glue and a wire. Okay. Maybe a little bit more glue right here. All right. Now another wire. That is good. Okay. 3 more spiders, and then we'll let these dry and then add some glaze. That's not quite staying put. Let's try that again. Just trying to line that up and make sure that it's good and stuck. That one isn't quite staying in place. Let's see if I just roll that over. Ah, there we go. While I'm at it, I forgot. I also wanted to create a little magic wand. So I've pulled out an Idea-ology star from the Christmas release. We're just going to add a little bit of the super glue on the back and stick a wire into that. So, star and then wire. Nice and easy. Okay, let's check back in a few minutes and see how our spiders have dried. All right, let's take a look at the spiders. Ooh, these seem to have come out quite nicely. Okay, so next we're going to be adding some embossing ink with the embossing pen. And we'll start dipping these into the embossing powder. So I'm just going to stick the powder over here. Lift the camera up just a little bit. And I'm going to add the embossing ink over the top of the spider. I'm just going to try to do the entire spider. We'll do one in real time and then I'll put the rest on fast forward. Okay. That seems pretty good. All right, I'll just dip that into here. That looks pretty good. Okay, now let's go ahead and emboss. For embossing, I'm going to put this on fast forward and then we'll take a look at the rest of the spiders. Okay, let's take a look at these spiders. Ooh, that looks great. The collage medium was just right to give these enough grip to get the embossing glaze on them. Ooh, the colors are fantastic. All right, now for some finishing touches on these. We're going to sparkle these spiders. And to do that, we're going to be using some of the distress glitter and a bit more of the glossy accents. All right, let's go ahead and add some sparkle to these spiders. So I'm going to take a little bit of the glossy accents and just put that onto the back of the spider. All right, dip. Perfect, just the right amount of sparkle. Okay, let's go ahead and add some sparkle to the rest of our spiders. I'm just going to add a little bit to the back, dip it, and set it aside to dry. I'm loving adding that just a little extra touch of sparkle. That is definitely adding a fun dimension to these. Okay, and just 3 more spiders to go. Okay. Yep, that looks really good. All right. So, simply adding a little bit of glaze and a bit of sparkle are changing these from plain metal spiders into delicious spider treats. Okay, there we go. Here are the up-close and finished results of the candy spiders. Check out that glaze that adds such a wonderful color to the spiders. And then we embellish this further with a bit of distress glitter on the back of the spider. Looks almost good enough to eat. Here are the finished results of our first round of play with the new Tim Holtz Idea-ology Halloween pieces. We have altered paper dolls, candy corns, and metal Idea-ology adornments. We've turned some plain everyday spiders into some delicious looking spider candy. We also have altered a couple of bats from plain silver to a midnight black and a glossy but grungy metal finish over here. Then we sparkled up some candy corn with some distress glitter. And at the very beginning, we altered 3 paper dolls using distress pearlescent crayons, distress mica spray stain in the new fortune teller, and from last year's color set, Tree Lot. And we also added a few embellishments of nightfall glitter to the paper dolls. If that wasn't enough, we also altered some of the Tim Holtz Idea-ology confection pieces. These were originally a plain black and white, but we jazzed them up to become a glittering Halloween compilation of candies. Then we altered some of the Tim Holtz Idea-ology clear bubbles. These we changed into luminous, glowing green potion bubbles. Thank you so much for joining me here today at the Crafty Corner for the Funkie Junkie Saturday Showcase mini-series. Be on the lookout for part 2, where we go in and alter more Idea-ology pieces. Until next time, happy crafting!